All right. Thank you for joining us for today's virtual information session. We're super thrilled you're here and super thrilled that you are interested and thinking about joining FIU's Masters in Foreign Language Education with a track in Teaching in Challenging Contexts. My name is Carla Maria. I am part of the FIU Online team at the university, and I've been a part of the university for a little bit over 10 years now, and I work to make sure that different learners have access to the university's fully online programs. And there's a few people here today that we'd like for you to meet, because if you join the program, you will get to connect with each of these persons. And with us today, we have Dr. Teresa Lucas. Dr. Lucas, would you like to just say a brief welcome, a brief hello to our prospective students?
Yeah, sure. Good evening to you all. It's really nice to have you here. I'm Teresa Lucas. I'm teaching in the foreign language education program, and this program, it's teaching in challenging contexts and teaching English in challenging contexts. I think is the focus of it. And I've been an English teacher in Venezuela for many years, where I lived and brought up my family there, and at FIU now for 18 years. We look forward to chatting with you this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Lucas. And with us today is also Dr. Aisha Perez Prado. Dr. Perez Prado, would you like to also say hello to our future FIU graduate students?
Yeah, hi. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm not hearing all the words, but okay. So my name's Aisha Perez Prado, and I teach some of the classes in the TIC program. I've been teaching at FIU for over 25 years. I think 25 years or 26 years this year. And I'm happy to be here and ready to answer any questions about the program. I think it's an exciting and sort of different program than you can find in lots of places. And I'm eager to hear your questions.
Thank you, Dr. Perez Prado. And with us today is also Marta Torres, Director of Programs at the College of Arts, Sciences, and Education. Marta, would you like to also say hello to our future students?
You're muted, Martha.
Oh, sorry about that. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. We're excited that you were able to join us tonight, and we hope we're going to be able to answer all the questions that you have about the program. And I'll be your point of contact during the admission process. So anything that I can help you with or any questions that you may have, I'll be happy to entertain them.
Thank you, Marta. And if you join the program, if you decide to join the program, you'll also be able to meet and connect with Dr. Brian Pontier, assistant professor for the program. So there are other professors and other faculty whom you'll be able to enjoy learning from once you decide to join the program. And just to expand a little bit more on the professors that you'll get to connect with in the program and hopefully find very valuable insight from, let's expand on that. So Dr. Lucas, can you share a little bit more about your background and kind of like where your areas of expertise lie?
Yes. So as I said, my field is teaching English as a second language. When I was in college, I was very interested in languages and thought that I wanted to teach German. And then I discovered that there is a program in teaching English as a second language. So I said, it's better that I teach my own language than trying to teach a language that I didn't, have that much fluency in. And it turned out to be a good thing, because I ended up meeting in college a fellow from Venezuela, and ended up going to Venezuela, where, as I said, I lived a long time and was teaching English down there, and also running a bilingual summer camp for about 10 years while I was there. And that's my background.
Thank you, thank you. And Dr. Perez Prado, would you be able to also expand on your background with our future students?
Sure. So I'm originally from Argentina, and I grew up between Buffalo, New York, and Buenos Aires, Argentina, going back and forth. So I have a master's in TESOL and a doctorate in social science and education. And I've taught, I used to teach English in California, Costa Rica, and Morocco, and Florida, and a little bit in Guatemala. And then I came back for my doctorate, and pretty much since then, I've been doing TESOL or teaching TESOL. I was a cross-cultural trainer as well for a while. And so I've been here at FIU working in the TESOL program since '97, so like a million years. And I'm also a children's book author and illustrator. And I'm really interested in how picture books and children's books can help in language acquisition and can be used in language classes. So that's something that's interesting to me, and everything that has to do with diversity and cross-cultural communication and peace linguistics is another thing that I'm very much interested in, and I integrate into my classes.
Thank you, Dr. Perez Prado. That sounds all super exciting from both Dr. Lucas and Dr. Perez Prado. And Dr. Perez Prado, I hope to connect with you later to find out more about your children's books. I would love to learn more about that. And well, I guess now that we're all here and you've learned a little bit about each of us that's connected here during our meeting today, we would actually like to learn a little bit about you. And really, what we would like to know is what is motivating you to pursue your master's in foreign language education, and particularly with the track in teaching in challenging contexts. So if you can just share your reason, your motivation, your why via chat, we'd love to just learn and find out why you're here today. And I guess if Dr. Lucas and Dr. Perez Prado, what have been some of the reasons you have seen from current and former students as to why they decide to join this particular master's program?
I think you can see there some of the reasons that we have encountered. They're on the screen there. It's people who want to make a difference in the lives of people who want to learn English in this challenging circumstances, particularly. There are people who are interested in teaching abroad often, or in in less affluent neighborhoods and places in the United States. We all have passion for what we do, and the students that we currently work with and have been working with all these years, it is a question of being like I say, having a passion for the field, having a passion for language, for cultural understanding, and in being part of the global community. Aisha?
Yes, yes to all of those things. And I found that a lot of our students like the program because they are currently teaching in challenging contexts. They're teaching in situations overseas or here in the US that are quite challenging, having to teach remotely. During COVID, a lot of people encountered challenges. There's a lot of our students who are interested in working with refugees and working with displaced persons, and also because it's fully online, and you can keep your job and you can keep doing pretty much what you normally do and continue with this program and end up with a master's degree in a relatively short amount of time that you can pretty much take anywhere in the world.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, some of the reasons from our current and former students. One person shared via chat, I'm interested in a career change and need education and training in the field of teaching languages in order to facilitate that transition. So that makes sense. I think this in this person's case, so Jamila, I hope I'm pronouncing Jamila's name correctly. But in this particular case, I think this may be the right program. So there really is no wrong answer as to the motivation behind pursuing your master's degree. So I also wanted to just share a little bit about FIU. So in case you're not familiar with Florida International University, we are the public research state university in South Florida. Our main campuses are in Miami, in the Miami-Dade area, but really we've got different campuses throughout. And we offer bachelor's, master's, and doctoral programs in many different fields, including education. And some of our biggest pride points are that we're one of the top 10 largest public universities in the United States based on enrollment. So right now we have over 56,000 students enrolled across all of our degree programs, both on campus, online. And we currently offer over 281 bachelor's, master's, and doctoral programs. And over 275 alumni have decided to join FIU and to complete their degree at FIU. And we're also the #1 university in the United States to award bachelor's and master's degrees to Hispanic students. So I just want to share that, if you decide to join the FIU graduate community, you really will have access to a great community and a great resources throughout your experience. And also at the university, we've always catered to students who just have like many things going on and they have the need to have flexible education in order to pursue their degree. So we've been offering online programs really for over 20 years now. And we currently offer over 100 fully online degree programs. And we're also the #1 university in the United States to have Quality Matters certifications for our online programs. And what that means is that our online programs are built and designed in such a way to make sure that our students are learning in an effective and engaging way. And now let's talk about this master's degree, the Master of Science in Foreign Language Education, with this very unique track, the track of teaching in challenging contexts. So this program is a 12-month program. You have to apply by June 1st, and then you start on August 21st. And basically what that means is that in August 2024, you'll be completely done with the program. It consists of 10 courses, or the equivalent of 30 credits. So 10 courses that you take throughout that 1 year. And the tuition, the entire tuition for the entire 10 courses for all the program is $17,700. This program is organized in such a way that it offers a cohort structure. So what that means is that the students that you begin the program with since day one, those are the same classmates that you're going to have throughout the rest of the year. And what that allows you to do is just really be able to build good relationships with your classmates that hopefully will be part of your network for your entire career, for your entire life. The program does have an online internship, and the courses also help you to achieve your ESOL certification through the Florida Department of Education. And talking about the program, its focus is teaching in challenging contexts. And I present this question to our professors here on the call, just so that our future learners, our future students can kind of get like a little bit of what they can expect from the courses. But basically, let's talk about context, challenging context. So I guess Dr. Lucas, Dr. Perez Prado, can you share your insight into some of the questions we have here on the screen? Whether can you teach language without teaching culture? And is it possible to teach language without using technology? And just in general, what is a challenging context? So I don't know, whoever wants to go first.
Teresa?
I went first last time, Aisha. So, but I think it's pretty easy to answer the first question. Language and culture are so intertwined that there's no way, you can teach language without teaching culture. And I don't think any of you are interested in trying to do that either, right? Because you're interested in a program that talks about context, right? In the title of the program. So the culture, is the context and language, and there's no way you can separate them. And when you're learning a language, you learn a culture. And so
I'm going to agree with that. Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
And I think we certainly since we've been teaching for quite a while, we can teach language without using technology.
Yes, you can teach language without using technology. Technology can be very helpful in language teaching, and it's used in so much of the world right now that we have so many resources online that can be useful and helpful, but it's not necessary for teaching language.
And that challenging context where you may not have, if you're interested in going to areas of the world where technology is not as advanced as it is here, you may find yourself in the very interesting, context of not having all the technological resources that we have. And so you use there's a lot of creative things that you can do, like using children's
I don't
books,
really,
right?
yeah. And I mean, every teaching is challenging anywhere. First of all, it's not just if you're in a remote part of the world, or if you're in a low socioeconomic part of the, school or situation. It's always challenging. And this program, I think, is designed to help you be able to teach no matter where you are, what your circumstances or resources are, whether or not you have technology, because you can learn to be a creative teacher with very limited resources if you have the background and you understand how language is acquired and what best practices in teaching are. So that's our goal.
Thank you, Dr. Perez Prado. Thank you, Dr. Lucas. And now I guess let's also talk about the courses of the program. Dr. Perez Prado, let's have you go first this time. What courses do you teach in the program, and kind of like, what's your favorite thing about the courses, and what can students expect from your courses?
Well, I teach the fun courses, I'm going to say. I think they're the most fun. I teach the methods class, and I'm all about being creative. I'm very hands-on action type of teacher. So I like to teach students to use creative methods and to learn how to teach with any circumstances that they're in, an interactive methodology. I also teach cross-cultural studies, which I'm just going to say that my classes are the most interesting. Teresa, you can debate that later. But the cross-cultural studies and how we communicate across cultures, which is such an interesting thing, and really talking about our own identity and how our identity changes when we acquire another language, and what that has to do with teaching. And I also teach love and language, and that one has the best name, obviously, of any of the classes in the program. And that's all about how emotion influences how we use language. And it also has a lot to do with peace linguistics and how we can use language in humanizing ways and in ways that increase collaboration across cultures and cross-cultural communication in ways that are positive and globally sound.
Wow, I love that. I love that. So I'm interested in the love and language course. I think.
Oh, I totally forgot that I teach assessment also. I teach the assessment class as well. And yeah, I try to make it fun.
And Dr. Lucas, what classes do you teach? Oh, did we miss one? No.
I happen to think that my classes are really interesting and fun too. Developing language is really an exploration into the history of history of language. Where does language come from? How did it develop throughout the human process of evolution, and looking particularly into the history of the English language. We look at how English developed and why there are so many crazy things like sounds, do not correspond always with the written, or the written doesn't correspond with the sounds. So we need to look into that and investigate how did that come about, and investigate, how our language is learned, and what are the parts of the language. You need to become conversant in the different, ways, what is phonology, the speaking of the language, how do people acquire the sounds, and how do they put the sounds together to make meaningful units of language, and how do you put words together. And so you need to know how to do all that, because sometimes we speak a language, a native language, and we really don't know how it's all put together. And when we teach it, we want to know that. And then we look into literacy, which is bilingual literacy, particularly how do people learn to read it. The development of a language is a natural organic process, but reading is not. So people need to have special skills in helping others to learn how to read. And then I also teach the curriculum, which is really fun, because you get to look at what goes into making a curriculum for a course. And we look into really creative ways to think about organizing the knowledge, that to finding out what is the knowledge you want to impart. But the basic question for this course is, what knowledge is of most worth? So we look at, what is really important in developing a course of studies. And when you're teaching, you might be, if you have the good fortune to be teaching in unusual places, and you get the opportunity to really create your own curriculum, then you will be prepared to do that by participating in this course.
Thank you, Dr. Lucas. Well, thank you each for sharing, the courses you teach. I'm sure that every professor thinks that their course is the best and the most fun. And we also want to share with you today that if you decide to join the program, you also have access to FIU's online, our limited scholarships. So we offer 3 different scholarships for students who are coming in as new students and starting in the fall 2023 or August 2023 semester. We have our FIU Online Corporate and Community Scholarship. It's a $2,000 award towards select number of students who are either employees or members of organizations that are really just making an impact in their communities or in your industries. We also have our FIU Online Academic Merit Scholarship. This is also a $2,000 award, and it also awards a select number of students who have a high GPA from your undergraduate. So if you have a high GPA, you have to apply to that scholarship. And we have our FIU Online Get Started Scholarship. It's a $1,000 award that goes to a select number of students who are challenged with any sort of hardship. So again, if you're facing any sort of hardship, we want you to apply to the scholarship and benefit from these. So I just want to say that these are not guaranteed to every single student. So my advice is to just get your application in early. The way to benefit from these scholarships is to first apply to the master's degree program. Then once you are admitted, once you go through the application process, then you are able to apply to these scholarships on the website you see at the bottom of your screen, fiu.academicworks.com. And actually that website, that is FIU's scholarship portal. So on there, you're going to find many other scholarships, and I encourage you to just browse through them and see if you qualify for any additional ones and apply to those as well. And just to share some context, over the past 3 years, we have awarded over $200,000 in scholarships to over 100 students. So that's a lot of help and a lot of resources that is available to you. And the program is also eligible for federal financial aid. And the way to apply for this is to go to the FAFSA.gov website or the My Student Aid mobile app. You're going to need FIU's federal school code, which is 009635. And you're also going to need your 2021 tax information. So any tax returns, you're going to need that for the 2023 through 2024 FAFSA academic year. And now I'm going to hand it over to Marta to share about admissions and application and share with you how you can actually join us for the program.
Good evening again, everyone. Just quickly going over what are documents that will be required for admission. We will need official transcripts. We would need proof of degree if it's not posted in your transcript. We would need 2 recommendation letters, a current resume, and a statement of intent. For the statement of intent, what we're looking for is for you to describe your academic and professional background, things that we potentially would not be able to gauge from your resume or from your academic grades. We're also looking to see why you're interested in pursuing the degree and what your future career goals are. So all this would be in an essay type of format, and we're looking at somewhere between 200 250 words. These documents can be uploaded to your application, so you don't necessarily have to have them when you apply. Actually, we encourage those that are interested in joining the program to apply as soon as possible, just to get everything started and for a record to be created for you in the university. And then as you have the other documents, and then you can upload them to your application at a later time. For the recommendation letters, if you know who your recommenders are at the time that you're submitting your application, then you would be including their name and their email. And what will happen is that they'll get a direct link for them to complete a questionnaire as a recommendation, and have the option to also upload a recommendation letter for you. If that doesn't happen at the time when you apply, if you don't have that information with you, then what will happen is that you need to ask those persons that you're interested in being your recommenders to then write a letter and then send us the letter directly, or they can provide the letter to you, and then you can then upload it on your application portal. As far as admission requirements, what we're looking for is for the students to have a bachelor's degree with a GPA of 3.0 or above in your last 60 credits. That's what we refer to as your upper division credits, the courses that you took for your major. So typically for US institutions means that we're going to be looking at your 3,000, 4,000 level courses. I'm not sure if there's anybody in the call that graduated from a university outside of the US. So there is a different process for those transcripts to be sent to us. And I'll be happy to share that information. It's also on the slide. But I don't want to take too much time going through that process in case we don't have anybody that graduated from a foreign university. And also for those that graduated from if anybody graduated from a university that's outside of the US and it's not an English speaking country, then you would need to take an English proficiency test, and the options for the test are listed on the slide. It could be any of those listed there, and then the required score is listed on the slide. For those of you that graduated from FIU, if any of you are undergrad FIU students, you would not need to provide transcripts, because we would automatically be able to pull that information from the system. So if you graduated from FIU, you would not need to submit official transcripts. I think that there's a question for somebody from Venezuela. Okay, you graduated from Venezuela. Okay, so I can, Jessica, if you want, so then that way we can talk about it a little bit more in detail. I can go through, you can stay on the call. After we finish the presentation, and I'll be happy to go over those details with you because the process recently changed. So, well, we used to require translations and official transcripts from the university, but now everything's going to be going through the agency where you're going to get your evaluation. So I'll answer, Jessica, any questions that you have at the end of the presentation. I can't emphasize enough how important it is for you to get your application started early. And I know there's going to be an incentive actually that Carla is going to mention about doing it, shortly after the presentation, if you've decided that this is the program that you're interested in pursuing. Although our deadline is June 1st, we have rolling admissions. So what that means is as soon as we receive your documents, we would be able to evaluate your application and make a decision. And it's helpful for you to get admitted as soon as possible. First, for scholarships. As Carla mentioned, there's opportunities out there, but for the most part, scholarships are going to want to validate that you've been admitted to a program. So that's a requirement that a lot of the scholarships will have. And also about financial aid, if you're going to be doing FAFSA, one of the last steps is for them to be able to confirm your admission. So obviously the sooner that they're able to do that, then the better it is for you to be able to put, all the financial aspects in order. I did want to go back and mention a little bit about the students that are in the first cohort, because I was involved in their recruiting. So I know a little bit about the students. We actually have 2 students that are pursuing the program and they're outside of the US. So they, they're definitely out there, not within the US. We do have a person that's a teacher in Palm Beach. And the reason why she's doing the program is because specifically in her school, there's not anybody that's familiar with ESOL education, and it's not, and they've had an influx of a lot of immigrants to that area. So being able to, to be a resource, not just for herself, but for the other teachers that are in her school. And I know we have another student that is actually changing career. So she's actually a little bit older. So again, it's something that, she was always interested in this field, but, due to a lot of obstacles in her, in her personal life. She was not able to, to pursue her degree earlier. So now she's completing the degree. So as you can see, we do have a very diverse first cohort. They've already completed this is going to be the second group of students that we recruit. So they've already completed their first semester, and as both professors mentioned, they're very excited about the program and are enjoying it. And they can't believe that they're almost done, that they're halfway through their second semester and only have the summer to go. So it does go by really quickly. And it's definitely a perk with regardless of the fact that it is intense and you have to put in the time, but the fact that you have a group of students that are going through the program together does help to be able to support each other. And then obviously, in my opinion, that we have the best faculty out there that we can offer the students, and they take a lot of pride in getting their classes together and being a resource for the students. I think that's all on my part. As I mentioned, you'll be communicating with me through the application process. So any questions that you have or anything that I can assist you with, I'll be happy to do that. I don't think I saw any questions, Carla, other than Jessica's question about her transcripts, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen any other additional questions.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I also want to share that just expanding on what Marta just shared with you, that we want to cover your application fee. So normally there is an application fee when you submit your graduate school application. However, we don't want you to worry about that. And we invite you to apply, but you must follow these steps in order for us to be able to cover your application fee. So you apply through go.fiu.edu/apply. And then that's our graduate application portal. You're going to create a username. You're going to log in, then you're going to complete your application. It's going to ask you a series of questions about your history academically. Just have like the information from all your former universities ready. And that whole process takes about 10 minutes. And towards the end, there is a payment option. So when it's asking for the payment option, just select the check option, the pay by check option. And then afterwards, email Marta at torremar@fiu.edu, TORREMAR@fiu.edu, and just let Marta know that you submitted your application, you selected the pay by check option. And if possible, once you submit your application, you're going to get an applicant number ID. So just share that with us so that we can easily look you up in our system. What we'll do on our end is once you select the pay by check option and once you email Marta, what we're going to do on our end is we're going to go inside the application system and we're going to look for your name and we're going to cover that fee for you. So just go ahead and follow these steps. And again, like the whole application process, it takes about 10 to 15 minutes. It's going to ask you for like some of your information, but then all the documents that you need to submit, you can just submit that afterward because that can take a few days for you to gather. So all those documents you can submit afterwards. But we do encourage you to just apply earlier so that we can already begin reviewing your application. And if there's any like additional guidance that we can give you throughout the review and admissions process, then we can do that in a timely manner. All right, so at this point in time, we are actually, we're open to any additional questions that you may have as you're thinking about joining this program. If you have something on your mind, now's the time to just share it with us. And hopefully we can provide additional guidance. You can share your question either via chat, or if you are if you're also welcome to either unmute yourself or turn on your video and just share your question as well. So again, here's our contact information on the screen. You can always reach out to us afterwards, but if you have any questions now, we'd be happy to help you out with questions. So let's see if any questions come in. And I don't know if Marta, while we wait for questions to come in, I'm not sure if maybe if there's any additional like guidance for Jessica, who is
Yes. Yeah, if you can leave this slide on, and then I'll just go. Jessica, the process for your transcripts from Venezuela would be that you have to go to an agency that will do your evaluation. Now the key is that it has to be an agency that's a member of this organization called NACES. There is the link for their website there. So you would select one of the agencies as listed there. And what you would need to request for them to do is a course by course evaluation and a certification of your diploma. Obviously, also, if your university in Venezuela provides the transcripts in Spanish, then they'll also be translating the information on the transcripts. We do have one agency that we use, Joseph Silney, so they're very familiar with us, and it is the information is also on the FIU main website under the graduate school, but I can also provide you with our contact information. That does not mean that you have to use that agency. It's just that that's one that that we're familiar with and has done a lot of work for students applying to our program in the past. So it's one, again, that we're familiar with, but that doesn't mean that it would have to be that. So what you would do is you would send your official transcripts to them, and then work it out with them to be able to do, again, course by course evaluation. They would certify your diploma, and in the case that the transcripts were in Spanish, they would do the translation also. So in that case, we would not be receiving the transcripts from you, Jessica. We would be receiving the package from the agency that you select to do the evaluation. Does that answer your question?
And we actually have another question that came in.
Okay.
And the question is it possible to complete the program on a part-time basis instead of all in 1 year? So instead of a full-time basis?
Unfortunately, that is not an option because of the fact that we offer the courses only once a year. And potentially, at times it may be that depending on what's going on in the current environment, we may decide to replace one of the courses, or sometimes it may be that due to faculty conflicts, we may be changing the order that we offer the courses. Because what happens is when the students get admitted and when we go through orientation, the students will get an actual schedule of this is what the 10 courses, these are the 10 courses you're going to be taking, and this is the semesters when they're going to be scheduled. So if we allowed students to go part-time, then a couple of things will happen. I mean, obviously we wouldn't be able to manage how many students are enrolling in each of the courses, and we need to have a minimum amount of students enrolled to be able to offer the class. But also, again, if we change the sequence of the courses, then we wouldn't be able to promise a student, a certain graduation date. And if for some reason, the student had to be out for more than 2 semesters, then that student would go inactive. So one of the great features about this program is the fact that you'll be done in 1 year. And that we're able to, to offer the 10 courses within a 1 year, 3 semester schedule.
All right. Well, I hope that answered your question, Jamila, and I hope that you're still able to join us, even though the program is only offered in a 1 year format. All right, at this point, it looks like we have covered all the questions for today. Again, you can go on at go.fiu.edu/apply. On that website, you can submit your application. Please be sure to select the pay by check option and then email Marta at torremar@fiu.edu. Feel free to take a print screen of this. And then that way, just let Marta know that you have applied and we can cover your application fee. Here is our contact information. Feel free to just connect with us later. We know that you're probably going to have questions later on for new things that maybe you didn't think of. So thank you for joining us.
Marla, wait, before we depart, going back to the question about going part-time, potentially there could be a concern that, that you're considered a full-time graduate student and having to balance that with work might be, one of the concerns that some of you might have. But keep in mind that the way that the schedule is set up, it's in mini terms. So at any given time, you're not taking more than 2 courses at a time. So that's something to take into consideration, that even though there are, the first semester you're scheduled for 4 classes, you're not taking the 4 classes at the same time. You're doing it in mini terms. So you're taking just 2 classes at a time. And I think in the summer, the last semester, you do have just 2. And then in the spring, you have the field component carries over between the spring and the summer. So, and as I mentioned, when I was talking about the cohort, I think we only have, on the current group, I think we only have 1 student that's not working full-time, but the rest of the students are working full-time. So they are able to, to manage their course load with their, with their professional and personal responsibilities. I mean, I'll say that it's challenging because obviously I don't want it to make it seem like it's not. And then obviously, Dr. Lucas will attest that, there is a commitment on behalf of the students to make, for your academic responsibilities. But everybody, is very conscious of the fact that, that the majority of the students are going to be working full time and pursuing the program. So we hope to think that we reach a balance where, given the commitment of, or the willingness of the student to put in the time, that they're able to balance, both professional and academic and personal responsibilities. And again, it's a sacrifice for a year, but one that goes by really fast.
Those are great words, Marta. I always like to share with prospective students that if they have a support network that you lean on, whether it's your friends, your family, your neighbor, I mean, you name it, like your coworkers, talk it over with them as well to see, sometimes if you need additional help, sometimes people are willing to help you because it is for a limited time, it is for 1 year. You sometimes rearrange your schedule and you give up some things, but then at the end of the year, as Marta said, our first cohort, they're already midway. It goes by super fast. And then, and then you'll be done with your degree and moving on to your next chapter. So thank you. Those are great words, Marta. And we are about to close the session. Dr. Lucas, I don't know if maybe you have any other last minute words for our future students.
Yes, it is challenging to complete all these courses in just a year. But the cohort model is really good, and because you have support from your fellow students, right? And a number of the assignments that we have are done in teams, so that it's not you don't have all of the pressure on yourself as one person, but you work together in small groups to complete the assignments, which are very active sorts of things that you do. So they're fun. A lot of the assignments you're learning, but you're enjoying working together to complete the projects.
Thank you, Dr. Lucas. Those are great inspirations to our students. As you're each here connected to begin hopefully your next chapter and start your degree. So thank you for connecting with us today. We look forward to hopefully further connecting with you later on throughout your admissions process. And we look forward to also hopefully you starting in August and fall. So thank you and be well. Take care.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.